China to Cuba to Vietnam, history teaches the power of a guerrilla movement. In business, too, a guerrilla has a reservoir of tactical advantages that allows the small company to flourish in the land of the giants. What's more important than your own size is the size of your competition. The key to marketing warfare is to tailor your tactics to your competition, not to your own company. It could be small geographically, or in volume, or in some other aspect difficult for a larger company to attack. A guerrilla organization does not change the mathematics of a marketing war. The big company still beats the small company. Rather, a guerrilla tries to reduce the size of the battleground in order to achieve a superiority of force. In other words, tries to become a big fish in a small pond. Rolls-Royce, for example, is a high-priced guerrilla in the automobile business. They dominate the market for cars costing more than $100,000. As a matter of fact, they own it. A guerrilla needs the credentials that market leadership conveys, even if the market is small. In some respects, a guerrilla campaign looks like a flanking attack. You could say, for example, that Rolls-Royce is a high-priced flanker, but there's a critical difference between flanking and guerrilla warfare. A flanking attack is deliberately launched close to the leader's position. The objective of a flanking attack is to bleed or unravel the leader's share. Mercedes-Benz is a high-priced flanking attack against Cadillac, and it did succeed in bleeding business from the General Motors division. So much so that Cadillac launched the Seville in an attempt to defend its turf. Rolls-Royce is the true guerrilla. While Rolls-Royce in a literal sense might take business from someone else, its strategy is not designed to unravel a competitive position. The Rolls-Royce dealer might just as likely be taking business away from a municipal bond sales rep or a jewelry store as another automobile dealer. How small a market should a guerrilla set its sights on? That's where judgment comes in. Try to pick a segment small enough so that you can become the leader. The tendency is to do the opposite, to try to grab as big a market as possible. This could be a mistake. You seldom read about companies that went under because the market they were concentrating on was too small. On the other hand, you often read about companies torn apart by overexpansion. Companies that launched too many products in too many markets in too large a geographic area. Why shouldn't Rolls-Royce, for example, introduce a less expensive car and take business from Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, and BMW? The key consideration is resources. Does the guerrilla have the resources and money and organization to take on increased competition? Sometimes yes, more often no. To take on a larger organization, guerrillas sometimes forget that they must give up their guerrilla stronghold and move out into the open. Why can't a guerrilla do both? Keep its guerrilla position at the same time that it launches a flanking attack? Why can't Rolls-Royce continue to sell $150,000 cars as well as $50,000 cars designed to flank the Mercedes crowd? We call this line of thinking the line extension trap. One name can't support two different concepts. The low-cost Rolls-Royce undermines the position of the high-priced product. And quite often the low-priced product doesn't sell either because who wants to buy a cheap Rolls-Royce? Again, it's a matter of concentration. By its nature, a guerrilla has limited forces to start with. To stay alive, a guerrilla must steadfastly resist the temptation to spread its forces. This just invites disaster.